Welcome to the Deep Dive, your express route to expert knowledge. Today we're immersing ourselves in the world of Sarah J. Maas. Specifically, we're digging into a review of A Court of Mist and Fury. That's the second book, the really pivotal one, in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series from 2016.
Right, and this source material, it's really comprehensive. We're not just, skimming the plot. We're looking deep into the plot shifts, the characters, and also the very specific, mature content details the review highlights. It's a fantasy romance novel, generally aimed at maybe 15 and up. And our goal here is to track Feyre's journey.
Her transformation, yeah.
Yeah.
From, like, a prisoner to this major political player.
Exactly. And how the world of Prycian itself almost forces that change.
Okay, let's set the scene. Book 2 picks up months after Feyre saved Prythian from Amarantha under the mountain. She's immortal now, she's got these magic gifts from all 7 High Lords, and she's back in the Spring Court, engaged to Tamlin. Sounds like a happy ending starting, but the review paints a really different picture right away.
Oh, completely different. The source material is clear. Feyre's struggling. Badly. We're talking depression, PTSD, constant nightmares about, the fairies she had to kill.
And Tamlin's reaction is, well, it's not helpful, is it?
Not at all. He's dealing with his own stuff, sure, but he just shuts down, won't talk about it,
Yep.
and he keeps Feyre completely isolated. Her whole world shrinks down to planning the wedding, becoming this proper hostess.
It's so restrictive, and the review points out, crucially, he knows she has these incredible new powers.
Yep, powers from the High Lords themselves. But he forbids her from training, calls them too dangerous. He says it's about keeping her safe. But it reads very much like control, like locking down an asset.
Yeah, it feels like possession, almost, not protection.
And that pressure, that suffocation, it just builds and builds until, boom.
The wedding ceremony, she has a full-blown panic attack right there at the altar.
And that cry for help, essentially, is heard by Rhysand, High Lord of the Night Court. He hears it through that bargain, that magical bond they formed in the first book.
The 1 week a month she owes him.
Exactly. So he appears, calls in the debt, and just whisks her away, right out of that stifling Spring Court.
And the Night Court, it's like night and day. Literally, I guess.
Yeah. Rhysand gives her space, freedom, but more than that, he gives her agency. It's fascinating. The review highlights this detail. He teaches her to read.
Wait, Tamlin never taught her to read. The man she nearly married.
Nope. Think about that level of control. Rhysand teaches her to read, and he tells her about her powers. He reveals that those gifts aren't just little tricks. They gave her the actual abilities of the High Lords. He's like, you are way stronger than you think, and you have to learn to use this.
That contrast is just stark. Freedom versus control. Knowledge versus ignorance.
Absolutely. So when she does briefly go back to the Spring Court, Tamlin's reaction is predictable, right?
It grills her like an interrogation.
Totally. Wants to know everything she saw, did. His possessiveness ramps up, and then he does the unthinkable. He casts this magical shield around the manor, traps her inside.
Oh, wow. That must have triggered her PTSD horribly.
Instantly. Flashbacks to being trapped under the mountain. It's the final straw, really. And Rhysand has to come rescue her again, this time taking her away for good to his own territory.
Okay, let's talk about that territory, the Night Court.
Yeah.
Because the review mentions it's not what it seems, it's got layers.
Right. 2 distinct courts, really. There's the public face, the hewn city. This place is known throughout Prythian as just wicked, the debauchery, cruelty, the works.
That's the image Rhysand cultivates?
Precisely. It's a performance. Because behind that facade, hidden by powerful magic for centuries, is Valeris.
The secret city.
The real heart of the Night Court. A beautiful, peaceful city by the sea. Art, culture, learning. It's idyllic. And that public image Rhysand maintains. It's all just a shield to protect Valeris, to hide his true nature and keep his people safe.
Smart, but exhausting, I imagine. But they can't just relax in Valeris, can they? There's a bigger threat.
No relaxation time, no. Rhysand suspects the King of Hybern is planning something big. An attack on Prythian itself.
Hybern. He's the one who dislikes the treaty with humans.
That's him. Hates that humans are enslaved anymore. His plan is to shatter the magical wall separating Prythian from the mortal lands. And to do that, he needs to reassemble the cauldron.
The cauldron. Like the mythical object their world was made from?
The very one. Immense power. He wants to use it to raise this legendary dead warrior, Jurian.
Yeah.
And Jurian's job, bring down the wall, end the treaty, re-enslave humanity.
Okay, so the stakes are incredibly high. How do they stop something like the cauldron?
There's only one known counter, the Book of Breathings. But naturally, it's not easy. The book was split into two halves ages ago. One half is hidden somewhere in the summer court within Pripyat,
And the other.
held by the 6 human queens across the sea in the mortal realm. So, cue a very high-stakes diplomatic mission/heist.
Right, because the fate of both worlds is literally riding on getting those two halves.
Exactly. And, before we get into how that mission goes in the climax, the review really dives into the darkness of this book. It's not just political maneuvering. The source emphasizes the mature content, the trauma, the violence. It shows you what kind of brutal world this really is.
That makes sense. It grounds the fantasy, right?
Yeah.
It makes the stakes feel real. What specifics does the review mention, like violence-wise?
It notes it's pretty graphic. There's blood, gore, detailed descriptions of fights. Specific examples mentioned are like a brutal attack on Valaris itself, Cassian's wings getting shredded, ugh, a human queen having her eyes gouged out before being killed. It doesn't shy away.
Wow, okay. And profanity.
Also quite extensive, according to the source, lists the F word, S-B-G-A-T-A-C-K, whore, and lots of sort of fantasy-specific oaths like mother above, mother tits, thank the mother. It gives the dialogue a raw, high-stakes feel.
And the sexual content, the review described that as explicit too, connecting it to Feyre's journey.
Absolutely. It's detailed and graphic. Starts with Feyre and Tamlin, descriptions including oral sex, but then it charts the shift to her relationship with Rysand. Again, graphic descriptions of sex, positions, arousal, even mentions his size. The source also notes details like Feyre choosing to use a magical birth control tonic.
Why focus on those details specifically?
Because it ties directly into her reclaiming her agency, especially contrasted with Tamlin. Like, there's a scene mentioned where she and Rysand have sex publicly in the hewn city throne room. It's about power, choice, owning her body and desires, a complete rejection of the helpless, controlled role she had in the Spring Court.
That darkness and trauma isn't just background noise either. It's baked into the main characters, especially Rysand's inner circle.
Oh, definitely. The review highlights their backstories. Take Morrigan. Brutalized, nearly killed by her own family, just for losing her virginity to Cassian, who they deemed lesser.
Horrific.
Or Azriel, the Shadow Singer. Illegitimate son, locked away in total darkness for 11 years as a child. These aren't just powerful Fae, they're deeply scarred survivors.
And that ties into the Rysand-Tamlin dynamic too, doesn't it? That history between their families.
A massive cycle of violence. The review lays it out. Tamlin's dad and brothers kill Rhys's mother and sister, so Rhys and his dad retaliate, killing Tamlin's whole family, which then leads to Tamlin killing Rhys's father.
It's just generations of murder and revenge.
Exactly. That's the bedrock of their hatred for each other. It's not just about Feyre. It's ancient history. Understanding that cycle is crucial, the review stresses, for grasping the depth of their conflict.
Okay, so amidst all this darkness and political maneuvering, Feyre's relationship with Rhysand deepens. Then comes the big reveal.
The mating bond. They managed to capture a Suriel, one of those creepy ancient creatures that has to tell the truth.
And it drops the bombshell on Feyre.
Completely. Tells her Rysand is her mate. Her destined partner, perfect match, bonded for life. She's stunned. The Suriel confirms Rhys felt it click when Amarantha killed her back in Book 1, and knew for sure when he saw her new Fae form.
How does she react? I mean, he kept it from her.
There's that moment, yeah. But she ultimately accepts it, forgives him for hiding it, and they seal the bond. Sexually, yes.
So personally, things are clicking into place. But politically, the clock's ticking. The human queens.
Right. The negotiations for the second half of the book, they try using something called the Veritas.
What's that?
A truth-revealing object, like a magical gem. They use it to show the queens the real Valaris, beautiful, peaceful, proof Rysand isn't the monster they think.
Does it work?
Yep. Amazingly, even seeing the truth, most queens refuse. They're too afraid or stubborn, though thankfully one queen secretly leaves their half of the book behind for Feyre.
Okay, so they have the whole book now. But Hybern attacks Valaris soon after.
He does. It's a devastating attack. Significant damage. People die. It makes the mission even more urgent.
So they have the book. What's the plan? Destroy the cauldron.
That's the goal. Amren, one of the Inner Circle, figures out a spell from the book to nullify the cauldron. But she gives Feyre a very specific warning. Whatever you do, do not join the two halves of the Book of Breathings together.
Uh-oh.
Which means she's definitely going to do it, right?
Pretty much. She feels this irresistible magical compulsion from the book itself. She joins the halves, and instantly it acts like a beacon. Alerts Jurian and the King of Hybern to their location. They're trapped in Hybern's castle.
And then, the betrayal.
The ultimate betrayal. Tamlin walks in with Lucien. They've cut a deal with the King of Hybern.
No.
Oh, yes. Hybern's armies get safe passage through the Spring Court right into the heart of Prythian, and in return, Tamlin gets Feyre back. He sold out everyone, his entire world, for her.
That's staggering. What does the king do then?
He demonstrates the cauldron's power. He takes Feyre's sisters, Elaine and Nesta, who were captured earlier, and forces them into it, remakes them into High Fae against their will.
Horrifying.
And in that instant, as Elaine emerges newly Fae, she's revealed to be Lucien's mate, another shockwave. Feyre sees all this, knows they're cornered, and decides to play the long game, the really long game.
What does she do? She pretends, puts on the performance of her life, acts like she's broken, wants Tamlin back. She begs the King of Hybern to break the mating bond between her and Rhysand.
Can he even do that?
That's the genius part. The king thinks he can. He performs a spell, but the review clarifies he only breaks the lesser bond. Remember that bargain from book 1?
Yeah.
The 1 week a month debt? That's the bond he breaks. It was superficial.
But the true mating bond.
Unbreakable by magic. The king doesn't know. Tamlin doesn't know. Feyre plays them completely. While they're gloating, she's telepathically telling Rhysand, get yourself and my sisters out of here now.
And he does.
He teleports them away, back to Valaris, leaving Feyre seemingly trapped with Tamlin and Hybern, but then Rhysand reveals the final twist to his inner circle.
There's more.
One last massive reveal. The night before that disastrous confrontation, Feyre wasn't just Rhysand's mate, she was formally sworn in as High Lady of the Night Court.
High Lady, not just consort.
His equal, co-ruler, with all the power and authority that entails. So Tamlin, in his obsession, hasn't just taken back his lost prize. He has unknowingly delivered the High Lady of the Night Court, a powerful enemy ruler, straight into the heart of his own court, allied with Hybern.
Wow. She's their spy. The ultimate mole.
Exactly. She went from victim to High Lady to master spy in one book. It's an incredible arc.
So wrapping this up, Feyre's journey is just immense. From that isolated girl in the Spring Court to this incredibly powerful figure ready to play the Game of Thrones, essentially.
It really is. And the source material emphasizes how the story blends that deep psychological trauma, hers, Rhysand's, everyone's, with this fast-paced epic fantasy plot. It's far beyond just a romance. It's about survival, healing, and really complex political maneuvering in a world that is beautiful but also incredibly brutal.
Yeah, the brutality feels key. It makes the triumphs, like Valaris, feel more precious, and the betrayals, like Tamlin's, feel even deeper.
Definitely. The review shows Prythian as this place of sharp contrasts. Darkness and light, trauma and healing, control and freedom.
So here's a final thought for you to chew on, based on the sources. We talked about that cycle of murder between Rhysand's and Tamlin's families. Was Tamlin's final betrayal siding with Hybern purely about his obsession with getting Feyre's back? Or was it, maybe, subconsciously or not, just the next move in that generations-old bloody family feud, selling out Prythian as the ultimate revenge against the family who took his own?
That's a really interesting question. Is it personal obsession or is it rooted in that deeper historical hatred?
Something to think about as you consider the complexities laid out in the source review.